Good morning, fellow Ambazonians. Today, na Thursday, number 4 day for this month of May 2023. My name na Capo Daniel, Mr. No Connie, Ambazonian FBI. And I come again once more with another episode of our daily podcast, a program where we bring una the truth, we bring una critical information, fact-based analysis for help we as we work for this journey to our freedom, to the independence of Ambazonia. Good people of Ambazonia, have the killing of our own been normalized? Yesterday, I have a phone call with one of the family members of one of the young boys who were killed in Maumu. 6 of them were executed by the Cameroon military for allegedly that bar being visited by one Ambazonian soldier. Have we gone cold so much that the killing of 6 youths, clients of an off-license, have become normal? I wonder how many of the so-called Ambazonian activists who were gathered in Belgium have highlighted the plight, the suffering, and the injustice of our people that were slaughtered in Maumu. Have we forgotten so easily and so fast? Not the mother of one of the boy who was killed. The mother have paralyzed. She has collapsed from the day the son was killed till today. The woman have been unable to recover, to speak. She have just stayed on the bed like a dead woman. As we move on, the family will not move on. Their children will not come back. 6 individuals gunned down by Cameroon military men in their vehicles, who did not even come down to check the dead bodies, to search for weapons, to make their usual propaganda video about Ambazonian soldiers being killed. They just shoot at these children, take a picture from the building, outside of the building. None of them did not even step inside the building to look at the people they have killed and walk away. There will be people in that village who call themselves CPDM members or traditional rulers who will come there and tell the people, we want peace. Let us move on. Where is the justice? If it can happen to them, it can happen to you. The impunity of killing Ambazonians like flies, when indeed Okala Bilai called our people cockroaches and dogs, he actually meant what he said. There will be no investigation. There will be no complaint. As a matter of fact, the family members who are alive are now even more afraid because their children have been killed. What a double jeopardy. So they have lost their own children, and now they will become a target for talking to the press, for giving information to international organizations that records and keep good track of these human rights abuses. And our own people have gone cold. I will continue to call on our forces in Fako to rise up to the occasion like they did in Batoke, to make sure that the criminals, the butchers of our people, should know no peace. And for those who receive La République du Cameroon military in their community, that they are coming for the so-called reconstruction, for roads that they have never built before, roads that are being built not by their own money or by their choice, but by the international community, should take a look at what have happened in Maumu and think very well if this is the type of normalcy or peace they want in our country, where anybody can be killed at any moment, no justification, no investigation, no outcry. Our fellow good people, now in the Savannah state, Mfonse, it don't talk say make no Ambazonian fighter, they no attend traditional ceremony where it always pass for inside Nso, where they call them say Nzen, cultural activity. This activity na the time where rituals they make Juju they come out for can dance in front for palace, and they bring prosperity, blessing, and good luck for the people them for inside Mbui. This time the fun it interrupt for talk say make Ambazonian soldier they no come out camp for the with gun and me they no come for can give protection as they be the talk say the one can give protection. This festival it don't always happen all this year, and I don't always enjoy the video the way they come up from this particular festival. But because of the decision of Fonse, the soldier them Ambazonian fighter them for inside Bui, they don't ban any Juju. Me Juju come out again for inside this particular village for so. And it don't always be a dilemma, because we dey under occupation, we be in war. When our traditional festivity they come up, La Republic they always fight for inject itself, come with the terrorist forces them for be around our funds them for do propaganda. It don't always be an insult and provocation for our people them, and we don't always engage with all palace the way they don't call me for advise them. Me they always reject. It not just be enough for them for no invite La Republic, their colonial DO or SDO or their military, but they need for tell them say they no want to meet and come for the because war they go on. And it don't always be true, including for Ambazonian fighters them. We don't always talk say make palace it be neutral. Now the right thing for do. So we not fit the force palace them, say me then choose side for war. Then deal with the people them naturally. Now why that the chief then deal with we. And my advice for our soldier them, now say when we don't reject in areas in a liberated area, in as much as those areas them be under Ambazonian control, we always need for no say La Republique du Cameroon still be an occupying power with tremendous ability for be able to pierce into our defenses and get to wherever they want at any time, even with our resistance. So we must always accommodate our traditional leaders that are amongst us and make sure that we do not do something that will be perceived by our population like an injustice. My advice to our soldier, which I always give them, is that whatever decision you take, if the unintended consequences will fall on individuals that have nothing to do with the original crime, then that decision is probably not the right one to take. Because now, as the soldiers have banned all traditional dances, all Juju in the village, what about Juju that goes to drive demons, or Juju that goes to do burial, or other Juju that have to come out in so? How will those things be? Those families will feel aggrieved. So every decision that we take must be proportional and must be appropriate measures to address a specific grievance. If the funds have made a wrong decision that have provoked us, any sanction that we want to give him should center around him or the palace, proportional to the grievances they have committed. To place a ban against all Juju will now not only give injury to the palace, but to other people who need the Juju service and other ceremony that will need the Juju service. And I've called on all our forces in Bui to review and rethink that punishment they have given and see if they can uplift it. We must always be measured in the decisions we take. Sometimes you take decision that will punish the population will bear some price, but you look at the outcome. If it is punitive in nature, not just some decisions you are taking for the general good in terms of pursuing a particular objective, but if it is just to send a message which is punitive in nature, we should make sure that punitive measures are targeted to the specific target of those punitive decisions. We'll continue to engage our forces to make sure that nobody is unjustly paying because of the crime or perceived crime of somebody else. Fellow Ambazonians, the news for Thibaut Nagy, Ambassador Thibaut Nagy, the former Undersecretary of State for African Affairs for America, where he done talk on the Ambazonian issue again for that ABC channel of Sako, where he come for talk say no country in no go call La Republique du Cameroon then she don't down for arrange the divorce with La Republique. And that is a direct quote of messages that we have always said in Ambazonia, that La Republique must come to the table to sit down and to arrange the terms of their departure from Ambazonia. Thibaut Nagy have said that will never happen. I have engaged with him also privately, and I can assure you that that is a direct message to us. The United States of America, in my engagement, since the brouhaha that is going on in Ambazonia, have given us direct counsel. I mean, it doesn't go better than this. And I've had a lot of calls from state partners regarding our struggle recently, and we have been well advised. I've submitted certain requests from some professors that have lent themselves to support our struggle to provide me some advice and guideline on specific issues. And I've engaged specific senior Ambazonians also for counsel. And my office is open for all Ambazonians to reach out to me and advise me on this new advocacy platform, which I have established to help promote and fight for our right of self-determination to achieve the goal of our people, the Ambazonian People's Advocacy Platform. I'll be making out a policy statement to project our country in light with the recent development internationally and domestically for our people, and that will come up eventually. In this response to this tweet, Tibo Nagy have actually come back and make another tweet on his Twitter page to tell Ambazonians that Ambazonia can prevail, but we must not look at the past. And this tells a lot about those who cling to our history as the justification because it is just, because it is right, so we must have our freedom. Should know that that is not how the world works. And one of former Sisiko's strong allied, or current Sisiko's strong allied, Atta Milan, have also responded on that tweet, and he has something to say to this line. He wrote his response, and I read it. What a lesson in diplomacy. Mr. Nagy literally schooled gentleman in diplomacy and international relationship. Unfortunately, it was still too complex for him to understand. I think he's addressing the SACO's anchorman who handled that program. As we always said, people like that have been using their platform to give a voice to contrary voices that have always tried to dampen our people's right without providing any alternative. As I said, we had remember Chris Anu who came on that same platform and invited a lady to come and tell us that our history does not matter. So this is not strange what the Sako people always do. So the question line also was important. At the end of the day, this is what Atta Milan concluded. After having listened to the veteran all these years, I draw the conclusion that they badly misled us and exhibit an unforgiving ignorance of international practices. Reasons why Nagy says, I see the war as it is, not the way it would be. This is our greatest weakness, defining the war based on the philosophy and legal jargons we got from school, which is different from practical government and diplomacy that can only learn on the field. I still say Von Gojidinka found us the answer long ago, after later argument of not having a treaty of union with La République du Cameroon were lame and baseless. And then there is a group that argue against a referendum. Ask them tangibly reason why, and they will say it will be rigged. Yet they want to sit and discuss with La République du Cameroon withdrawal without precondition. Whatever that means. We use terms we honestly understand nothing about and exhibit unforgiving ignorance of international relationships. While based on the research I've done and the feedback from the international communities, it is true that to say that we will sit on the table for La République to withdraw from our country, those rhetorics reflects on our struggle internationally in some ways that we have not yet perceived. But I don't think the Dr. Chuayaba specifically, who usually use this term, is doing so with malice. He's a nationalist and have been the backbone of our ideology in this struggle, especially with self-defense. Everybody have their flaws. And but what Milan says is some of those problems we have found with the IG as a whole. The preaching of the referendum. Yerima, for the most part, have shied away from it. Chris Anu, as I told you people yesterday, brought it to Cambodia in the floor in front of international experts. And basically, I provided the answer that was concord to him, which is that asking for referendum is surrendering the principle for which you demand Ambazonian freedom. You cannot ask for a referendum because a referendum is an internal process that comes from the constitution of a sitting country. So that will be ceding to La République du Cameroon and acceptance of the legality of their union with us if we ask for a referendum. Chris Ano, in his response, said in public, with everybody who was in Cambodia, that he was just trying to use it as a strategy to lure a debate. And that should tell our people that there is no thought process going behind this issue of a referendum. Anybody who is asking for a referendum should know better that they need to do more research and look at what other people have said about it to know that there is no basis for Ambazonia to be demanding for referendum as a pathway for our independence. The issue that Ambazonians have always made, that because Cameroon do not have a union treaty with us, means that Cameroon presence, we interpret it from there, have some flaws, which I have come to learn. There have been some research work that was submitted about the Ambazonians' independence by the Hague of Sea. And in those documents, from what we heard, had established our status as seen in international law by international experts that are very reputable in current interpretation of international law. And the submission was that Ambazonian is an unrecognized state. That is our official status. The details of those documents are yet to be released. But we have a lot of things to adopt and a lot of rhetoric we need to readjust within our struggle for us to attract the type of attention that the international world or system would want to give us. One thing Ambazonians should know, it is a flaw for us to ask for federalism, for referendum. It is just a big flaw. There is no basis for a liberation struggle to be asking for a referendum. What can free Ambazonia is a combination of ground zero action, war effort, with the economic sabotage that I call the Haiti solution. These two must go together. The second is even more important than the first, because Cameroon military that comes to Ambazonia have signed their death warrant and it is their job to die. And to think that just killing them will have the same effect as the economic sabotage will be wrong. We need to balance our priority and educate and inspire our soldiers to take more effective measures to free our people with a combination of a robust international diplomacy that is strategic and that is smart. One of the things we have learned is that what we say to ourselves is actually very important to the international communities as what we say to the international communities. And they listen to us, and they listen to us very attentively, more than we know. For the people like the Chris Ano and the Sako who are bringing up the issue of referendum, I think they have had a history of just trying to use things to gather people's attention. If it is not my war draft, or it is a lockdown, or is something else, I think this is just some of those their mind games that have no bearings, because judging from their previous confession, this was just a try and error issue that they were doing. So our people should not take it so seriously. I know we are desperate for freedom, and we desperate people will do desperate things and will be more curious. But it should not go further than that. If you want people to help you, you must listen to what they are saying. Ambazonia must listen to what the international community is saying. We cannot ignore what the international community is saying. At the same time, we must know that this is self-determination. What will decide this struggle comes from us Ambazonians, not from the international community. Even though the international community is determinative, that means they will be determined to what will conclude, but that will depend on us Ambazonians, how we proceed and how we prosecute this war and how we are perceived by the international community that we need. We can also not depend, our campaign should not be dependent on the international community, because if our campaign is dependent on the international communities, the international community would have good relationship with La République du Cameroon, will be perceived as supporting or instigating the breaking down of Cameroon as they see it. And that can never be our main and sole motivation. In our calculus, we must know that we expect this, and these are the natural things we should expect from the responsibility of the international community, but that should not be the sole purpose that drives us. It should be our calculus, but it shouldn't be the sole purpose that drives us. So the international community is very important, but at the end of the day, we do what we do because of the injustice and how we perceive things. That should be how it comes across. As we continue to contemplate and engage ourselves and the international community on this issue, I want to tell our people once more again, if we are the ones feeling the pain, we must be the one to cry the die. We must be the one to love each other and care for each other. Our people have been killed in Maumu, and our people have for the most part been silenced or become familiar with the death of our people. We should never accept what it is as what it ought to be. We should continue to stand with the families of those who have been slaughtered by the Cameroon army and continue to use all our platform to highlight these criminal activities of the regime while working hard with our forces to end the impunity and completely cut the umbilical cord that have opened this hole for these canker worms, these demons of La République du Cameroon to get into our midst, or the bat snake, as Mancho BBC will say, that have gotten into our country. The good news is Ambazonia shall eventually prevail, and Ambazonia will prevail, because I believe we will do the right thing to get us across the line. Capo Daniel, signing off, looking out for you.